they definitely need to answer questions, because we do know that over the past 6 years or so, where Jihadi John was on the radar of the British security services, they've been in touch with him at least 12 times. We also know he's been in contact with people who were on a control order. So the question is, why didn't this happen to him? Why he was not, why he was able to in the end go to Syria and join the Islamic State when he was clearly known to authorities for a long time, as well as his associates.
I guess it's almost a no-win situation for the authorities, because the questions raised about whether or not them approaching him has potentially radicalised him and pushed him down this route, and also questions as to whether or not they could have stopped him.
Well, I mean, I think we need to be very careful here when we say that the security services are responsible for his radicalisation. I mean, first of all, we do know he tried to join Al-Shabaab in Somalia before he got in contact with the British security services. He tried to go via Tanzania, he was caught in Tanzania, he was sent back to the UK via the Netherlands, and that's where he, for the first time came in contact with the security services. So there's something wrong, with the timeline here. And we also need to look at, who's putting this timeline forward, who's sort of selling this narrative. And this narrative was put forward by Cage, which is often described as a human rights organization or a civil liberty organization, but which is actually a pro-Islamist organization. They have a long record of, supporting terrorists, of apologizing for their actions. So we need to be very careful here before we buy into their narrative. I think indeed Cage as well has to answer a lot of questions, because they've been in contact with Jihadi John for a long time. They surely must have known, that he became ever more radicalized. And the question is, why didn't they do anything? Why didn't they alert authorities? Why was this man allowed to go to Syria and now, behead innocent people?
Yeah, let's go back in time then to when a lot of the papers are suggesting this man may have been radicalised, and they're talking very much about his time at Westminster University, where he studied for a degree there, because it was straight after his graduation that he attempted to go to join Al-Shabaab and was stopped in Tanzania. So a lot of questions raised about what happens at universities and what protocols are in place to potentially stop people being radicalised, and questions about what links the Islamic Society at that university had at the time.
Yes, I mean, this is a problem with many universities, not just Westminster University. I mean, many Islamic communities on campus have had issues with, inviting hate preachers. So that's something we definitely need to look at, because, I think one thing we really need to understand is we need to do much more to prevent people to become radicalized in the first place. It's much easier not to prevent people from becoming radicalized than to turn them around once they are radicalized. And I believe this is the case with Jihadi John as well. But then again, we heard Cage saying that he suffered from racism, that he was mistreated by authorities, but this is a problem many people with an immigrant background face, and not, the vast majority of them don't go to foreign countries and then murder wholly innocent people. So again, we need to be very careful here before we draw conclusions.
We also, I suppose, need to draw the dots together between the different countries where this man was known, because we know he was stopped in Tanzania as soon as he arrived. They were on alert to him. He was then deported to the Netherlands, and he came backwards and forwards through several other countries before he left this country, eventually to make his way to Syria. So again, does there need to be a more joined up approach internationally between the security services, how they talk to each other, border controls, etc., to try and stop these people? And we've had this issue very much in the press this week because of the 3 London girls who've headed to Turkey and we think to join Islamic State in Syria. So again, very much about border control issues.
Yes, we definitely need much more cooperation there. But then again, I mean, after all, he's a British citizen. It would have been the duty of the British security services to put him on a watch list and make sure he doesn't go to these countries, and to sort of what you said earlier about the 3 girls going to Syria. I mean, I heard people say, well, then just let them go if they want to go. I don't think it's that easy. We do have a responsibility to try and stop people from going there. One reason being, they go to these countries, they engage in hideous crimes, they kill thousands of innocent people, not just British or American citizens, but also, people from Syria, from Iraq. So there is definitely, also the moral imperative here to stop these people from going there. And what we also see with foreign fighters, such as Jihadi John, they start somewhere, they start a journey somewhere. In his case, in Tanzania, or, trying to join Al-Shabaab in Somalia, but they don't stay there. They travel, wherever there's conflict, these people go. And a guy who, begins his sort of jihadi career in Somalia or in Iraq, he might as well end up in another country killing British or American troops. So we need to think long term here and do whatever we can to stop these people going there.
Julie Lennars from the Human Security Centre, thank you very much for your analysis this morning. Thank you.